Hello, Internet friends. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett from the King 5 studios on Monday evening, and we have got a first alert weather event happening tonight. In fact, over the next 24 hours, very interesting forecast because we've got kind of a battle of some very cold air, especially up towards the north in Skagit and Whatcom counties. It's going to be battling with some relatively warmer air coming in from the south and west as a new system moves in. So you take these two battling air masses, you add some precipitation to it. We've already been tracking some lowland snow that's been basically falling but not sticking in a lot of spots. That will change overnight tonight, and that could have some implications for the morning commute. So let's just dig right into it right now and tell you what we're looking at. Over the next 24 hours, we will be seeing some active weather that will include lowland snow with some bitterly cold temperatures. In fact, all of us go below freezing tonight. What the impacts will be some hazardous driving and some delays. In fact, there's going to be a lot of folks sliding off the roads tomorrow. If you can avoid it, and especially past travel, just don't do it. Another 24 hours, like by this time tomorrow night, Tuesday evening, things will be much better, but it will still be very, very cold out there. So the big news tonight is the winter storm warning. That's an upgrade from the winter storm watch that we had, and you can see that footprint, everything that's in that pink color there. This is huge. So we're talking all the way out towards the Olympic Peninsula from the Canadian border all the way down towards Oregon. Now, where you see that purple down towards the southwest interior, that's still going to hang as a winter weather advisory. And the reason is that temperatures won't really be cold enough to support snow throughout the entire night. That said, there is the potential to pick up anywhere between about 2 to 4 slushy inches of precipitation. We'll take a look at that as we go into Futurecast here in just a minute. Here's a look at the Seattle Metro, and this is as of 8:40 on Monday p.m. And you notice the temperature there, sitting at 34 degrees. So I've been sticking my head out throughout the entire night. There are flakes falling, but they're not sticking. Roads are wet right now across the Seattle Metro, but as I mentioned earlier, that could change. So why am I showing you the national map? Well, take a look at the very top there. You notice that pink and that white color there, that is some bitterly cold air that's coming straight in from the Arctic. Now, of course, it's going to affect most of the midsection of the country, and if you've heard some of those headlines, they are preparing for some nasty weather. If you do have any travel plans, especially across the north and the Midwest, man, it's going to be rough. So see 34 in Seattle and then -1 in Billings. Well, we're going to be seeing some temperatures that will kind of be between that. In fact, again, as of 8:40 on Monday night, these are current temperatures, and look at that disparity between Bellingham and Chehalis. So there is a 20-degree gradient or 20-degree difference between those two places because of that influence of that cold air that's hanging out over land. It's 6 below in Winthrop, it's 8 degrees in Wenatchee, 11 in Ellensburg, and then off towards the coast, it's below freezing in Forks. Overnight lows, well, they get even colder. It's going to touch down around 10 in Bellingham, 16 Mount Vernon, 15 in Arlington, but again, down towards South Sound, it will get below freezing. We've got kind of a gaggle of 27 through Tacoma, Puyallup, and Olympia, and then 31 in Hoquiam, 21 in Forks. So a lot of those temperatures, especially up towards our northern counties like Skagit and Whatcom, have to do with that Fraser outflow. We talk about this quite a bit. Whenever you've got those winds coming in from the east or the northeast, that's coming over land. That is cold, dry air, and so it's going to continue to do that overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow until that frontal boundary passes through. And then what you notice is that wind direction will change. Now, it will still be bitterly cold up towards our northern counties, but I think tonight is going to be the worst of it. And then we'll get some more of that zonal flow that'll come in from the west and kind of mellow things out a little bit. But you notice that Fraser outflow never really stops. It just slows down a little bit. So in the big picture, this system will move on Tuesday evening. I'll show you that in a moment. We've got another one moving in Thursday into Friday that's got a lot of the same complications that this one does. It's going to be just cold enough for snow in some places, rain in others, and rain-snow mix somewhere in between. And then the good news, good-ish news, is that by the time we get to Christmas, remember, it's going to be on a weekend this year. Christmas Eve is on Saturday. Christmas Day is on Sunday. Looks like it will be rainy, but not snowy in the lower elevations. Of course, the mountains will be snowy, but looks like down low we should be able to get over the woods and through the hills to Grandma's house, no problem. So take a look at satellite and radar. This is a 2-hour loop, and as I zoom that in, there's a whole lot of white going on there. And again, especially up towards Snohomish County and up towards the Canadian border, where we are seeing some convergence taking place as that Fraser outflow wind kind of hits some of those winds that are coming in from the west. And that's putting some of the heavier snow out towards Everett and out towards Mount Vernon. Now, here's what we're looking at in the big picture. As this system moves through, you notice it doesn't have a lot of moisture, and it comes through very quickly. By about 4 p.m. on Tuesday, the front passes and then just keeps right on going. So this thing's not going to sit and dump on us. It's got places to go allowing people to meet, but it will bring in some very cold air behind that. And then there's that next system moving in late Thursday into Friday that again will have some cold air and some precipitation and all of the same challenges that we're facing tonight. So here in the big picture, this is how much precipitation we are expecting in the big picture here. And again, you're seeing it's not a whole lot. So this isn't going to be a big rain or snow event for anybody, but it's where it snows that's kind of the big issue. So as we put the future into motion, this is Monday night around 8:30. You see a lot of that snow across a lot of our northern counties and out towards the Olympic Peninsula. Port Angeles is in the thick of it, and then up towards Stevens Pass and Snoqualmie Pass, it continues to snow throughout the night. This is Tuesday, 8:30 in the morning, and this is where things become complicated. You see all that green and yellow, that's where we get that influx of that southwesterly wind that will be relatively warm compared to a lot of that cold air that we're seeing coming in from the north and northeast. So things start to switch over and become a rain-snow mix down towards Tacoma, Olympia, Chehalis, Raymond. So even if we see some snow fall and accumulate overnight tonight, there is the potential that it could switch over to rain tomorrow and kind of negate itself or wash itself out there. By about noon, we see that frontal boundary start to move through, so things start to taper, especially up towards Snohomish, Whatcom counties there, and Skagit County, and then we'll see that frontal boundary move through. So by noon, now it's kind of snowing down towards Tacoma, down towards Puyallup, but then whew, this thing moves out of here, and by 3 p.m. we start to see some clearing. Now there's one more component to this story. We get a little bit of convergence that'll set up shop on Tuesday night, and that's going to bring some convergence-based snow from basically Mount Vernon and Everett, as you would expect it to be along the I-5 corridor, and then throw some more snow up towards Stevens and possibly Snoqualmie Pass by the time it's done. In fact, by the time we get to about midnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning, we'll see some flurries flying up by Snoqualmie before this thing clears out completely. So as far as lowland snow accumulation goes, by the time we get to Tuesday morning, this is around 8:30, again, we are not expecting this to be snowmageddon. It's not going to shut the city down or anything like that, but there will be some accumulations out there. Check out Port Angeles, though. It looks like there could be 10 inches of snow at sea level out there. Quileute looks like it'll pick up a couple as well. This is the latest forecast model that suggests that things will be kind of wildly varying from Olympia and Tacoma, who pick up about a half an inch. Looks like we could pick up anywhere between an inch or two in Seattle and in Everett, but then if you move up towards Oak Harbor, Mount Vernon, Bellingham, now we're talking about some accumulations that will be in that 6 to 8 inch range. So kind of what you expected. Where it's cold, you'll see more snow, and down towards the south where it's relatively warm, you really won't see much in the way of accumulations at all. As far as the mountain passes go, by the time we get to about 9 a.m. on Tuesday, if you're one of those people who doesn't have that pesky job that keeps you from skiing or snowboarding, you're going to be really happy if you're heading up to Stevens Pass or Baker, where they're going to pick up about an inch or about a foot or more, and it looks like Hurricane Ridge will do pretty well. And then by the time we get into Wednesday morning, it looks like Snoqualmie Pass starts to light up there. That's when we could have some travel impacts. Crystal, White Pass, Stevens, Baker, everybody really does well from this. Snowpack's looking really good. High temperatures on Tuesday will not be particularly high at all, but again, there is a 20-degree difference between Bellingham's high temperature and Chehalis' high temperature. 43 in Chehalis, 23 in Bellingham. So yeah, it's going to continue to stay cold, in fact, sub-freezing throughout the entire day up towards Skagit and Whatcom. 7-day forecast shows temperatures breaking above the freezing mark in Seattle, and then we're going to go into the deep freeze for the first day of winter on Wednesday. Seems appropriate. That system moves through Thursday into Friday, and again kind of has the same profile as this one. It'll come in cold, but then as it starts to warm Thursday into Friday, we're looking at a rain-snow mix, and then you head into the weekend and it looks like again it will be rainy, but it doesn't look like it'll be snowy in the lower elevations. Mountains will definitely be snowing this weekend, but it looks like as far as the lower elevations go, you should be able to get around just fine. So that's it in a nutshell. It's a first alert weather event. It looks like we're going to be staying there until about this time tomorrow night. Looks like that front will pass through tomorrow afternoon, and conditions should improve dramatically for most of us, unless of course you happen to be in Skagit or Whatcom counties, where it's going to stay cold and snowy pretty much all the way through the day tomorrow. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett from the King 5 Newsroom. Stay warm, stay safe, and keep looking up.